ye prisoners of starvation, arise, ye wretched of the earth. For Lefty's cooking something special, from starters to dessert.
Welcome to Cooking with Lefty, where we mix food, humor, and politics to give you tips for tasty treats and a little food for thought. We invite you to join us today on a culinary tour of the food tasting area of the Americas.
Trade makes it possible for us to enjoy delicious and even exotic foods from around the world, but when it comes to the free trade area of the Americas, the FTAA, we ought to be concerned. Like NAFTA, the FTA makes it possible for corporations to sue countries if they think that their public regulations interfere with the corporation's ability to make a profit. That includes regulations that protect the safety of our food. This could make it harder for countries to challenge the safety of genetically modified foods, for example. NAFTA has devastated family farmers in the U.S. and Mexico. It's made it possible to dump cheap factory farm produce on markets at prices so low that even subsistence farmers can't compete. As trade ministers gather from around the world to negotiate the FTAA, the future of our food is at stake.
Welcome to the food tasting area of the Americas. Join us and our tasters as we do a culinary whistle-stop tour of foods of the Americas, countries that'll all be covered by the free trade area of the Americas, if it's passed. We've chosen Brazil, because Brazil is going to be co-chairing with the United States the free trade area of the Americas, and they've recently elected a new populist leader, Lula, who'll be very interesting to watch. We'll be tasting today from Brazil quibe and bulino bacalhau, beef and codfish croquettes from an old family recipe enjoyed throughout Brazil. We've chosen El Salvador because thousands of healthcare workers are currently on strike to prevent the corporatization of their public health system. And we like pupusas. Pupusas, like plump stuffed tortillas, can be filled with anything. Beef, cheese, beans, even flowers. When I was in El Salvador, I enjoyed some fresh zucchini flower stuffed pupusas. Terrific. And we've chosen our neighbor Mexico, partly because hundreds of thousands of corn farmers in Mexico can no longer farm the land because cheap subsidized corn from American agribusiness has been basically dumped on Mexico since the passage of NAFTA. Today, we'll be tasting some wonderful sopas with beans, chicken, and cheese from Jalisco in Mexico. And then finally, the good old US of A, our country, and we have some pretty darn good food here. We'll be tasting today French toast, whipped cream, and strawberries. A terrific entry. As you can see, our tasters are secured in a soundproof booth to keep them on their toes. They have no idea of the national origins of the foods they'll be tasting today. We're here with our distinguished panel of tasters. They'll be tasting food from 4 countries of the Americas, all of which will be covered by the free trade area of the Americas. And after tasting each food, they're going to be deciding which category of the 3 different categories best applies to that food. The first, this food is so good it could sustain me through an international trade negotiations meeting, the sustainability card. Second category, don't dare genetically modify this food, it's too good. Or the third category they might choose, this food is so good, I want to go there now. Okay, tasters, start your engines and begin the tasting.
I think this is speedy.
Tasters, what's your verdict? Let's start with Sarah,
It's definitely the sustainability card
the sustainability card.
for this first one.
Bob,
I would have to agree. It's hearty and it could it really has a filling feel to it.
I also love the texture of the food because the outside is crispy, the inside is nice and moist.
I'm going to make it unanimous because this is food made to sustain. There's no question about it.
well, thank you, tasters. Any guesses as to where this particular food is from?
Brazil.
Ah, she
Along with
wins.
Lula.
Well, let's move on and taste our next dish then. Okay, tasters, how would you rate this one? Hold up your cards. Let's see what your ratings are all together now. We've got 3. Don't genetically modify this food. It's too good. And we have 1 sustainability card. Who would like to comment?
I think it's the corn, really. What is the food you think of when you think of genetically modified food? You think of corn.
And you get the real flavor of the corn in the encasing and the breading of it, which is good.
Yeah, and I hate to like double up on what everyone's saying, but I pretty much agree. Like I thought of corn and, you know, don't touch the corn. The U.S. stay out of the corn, okay?
Thank you, tasters. And on to your third
All right.
taste. Okay, tasters, any verdicts? Got 3 votes for sustainability and 1 for it's so good, I'm going there now. Comments, tasters? Who would like to comment?
I think it had a bit of everything, all the major food groups. It had some beans, some carbohydrates with the corn, with the some tomato and some peppers. That's all you need.
Yeah, this seems to be made from all the ingredients that would keep a sustaining community going. So I think it's important to recognize that. I'm going for sustainability.
Well, let me just ask, any guesses to where this last food is from? Anybody
Mexico.
know? Mexico.
Yeah.
Right you are. Finally, the final mysterious 4th dessert. Or actually dessert now, this one looks like. Please have a taste. How would you rate this particular dish? I would say it's unanimous. So good. They want to go there. Any reason why? Comments, tasters?
Well, sugar's my weakness, so and it was good. That was delicious.
It was surprising to me because just looking at it, I thought it was going to be a brownie. But it wasn't a brownie. And it was something that was sweet yet crunchy, and it had a little tartness to it, and it had a hint of alcohol too. So
Yeah, it was so good. I felt like I was just floating on air. So that just gave me an idea of going away, wherever that may be.
A very elegant combination of flavors. Very, very elegant and very delicious. So I'm ready to go.
And may I ask, any guesses to where this last dish is from?
when we think of dessert, we don't usually think of the nationality about it. So I have a hard time guessing.
Well, in fact, this is the U.S. entry. We're told, surprisingly, that it's actually French toast. An American
No
version,
way.
and a delicious one from the looks in your expressions, I would say as well. And
French
working
This is the best French toast I've ever had.
So in this case, we don't have to travel too far to taste it, in fact. And working backwards, we were tasting from, just recently, Mexico, sopas, which were delicious and had all the different ingredients and major food groups that we would want to have, and natural and pure. And that from Mexico, before, pupusas from El Salvador, stuffed with meat and with cheese, and delicious. And we started off with kibe and bulinao bacalao, meat,
Bacalao.
and codfish croquettes from Brazil.